Hey folks, how's it going? It's time to pick up where we left off. This time around, we're on the Waltz Island and we'll go from chapter 5 to chapter 8, recruiting Io in the process and then taking a little bit of a break to take a look at a couple of side stories. Many of the fights are starting to get a second battle, and as easy as these battles can be, sometimes you might just want to make them go by a little bit easier. And for that, summons can come quite in handy. Here's a good example. Now, these animations can be skipped, and if you're playing at a high enough level, it's kind of a requirement to skip them. But since we are just starting the game, please indulge me as I leave them all on. And a little bit of traveling later, we finally hit class level 20 on our fighter. This gives us a 1% attack for all of the classes and unlocks its extended mastery. Now, the game gives you a little bit of a tutorial for these, but we won't be using extended mastery points until we reach the row 3 classes and specifically the Dark Fencer one. Since we will be running Dark Fencer a lot, until we unlock the row 4 classes, it's probably worth investing some points into attack bonus, debuff success bonus, and down below on the double attack bonus. But again, all this stuff will have to wait. For now, we go and unlock our second class. Our main priority right now is going to be to try and shoot for the row 3 class Dark Fencer. He's got Miserable Mist, one of the most useful skills in the game, giving the enemy a 25% attack and defense down. In order to do so, we will need to max out the Sentinel and Arcana Dueler classes, and for them we will need the Knight and Enhancer classes as well. And with the Knight class freshly unlocked, we go back to questing. Just one more chapter and we reach rank 10, and we finally manage to unlock Io. There she is. She's going to join Catalina as our second water character, and now we can start worrying a bit more about MC's element. Getting to rank 10 also unlocked co-op for us. Co-op missions should become a daily thing for you. They give these nice blue sky crystals, which you will need in the late game, and trust me, you will kick yourself in the balls for not getting them. As well as one more premium draw ticket every 21 days, and a little bit more goodies like class points, rupees, full elixirs, and dragon scales. These are a little bit rare to farm, so it's nice to have another source for them. Now, even if you're new, don't be scared to just open up a room and let other people come in and help you out. All you have to do is go on host and host your own quest. Also, each new stage will reward you with more crystals. And with that out of the way, let's keep moving towards Colossus. Before moving forward too much though, let's fix up our team a little bit. So, Rackham has an innate double attack up, so he goes in the first slot. And the second and third are for Catalina and Io. You see, I've got a couple more characters out of the max level weapon tickets, but we won't be using them. Alright, now, since this is supposed to be a water team, any water main and weapon will do fine into boosting our MC's damage. Thankfully, we have a spear. No skill, but whatever. Now, hold will allow us to auto-select and not have our main weapon swapped out. And here we are, getting a nice little damage boost. Again, the grid is kind of disgusting to look at, but we don't really have a main summon, so this is the best we can get. For a support summon, we will keep picking Europa. She gives us a 120% boost to water attack, which now affects 3 of our characters. Man, you has got some strange taste. It's so weird going back to fight with low-level classes and characters. And if you are wondering about the importance of being on element and choosing a decent summon, just look at the damage difference between Rakam and everybody else. Oops. Rest in peace, Rakam. But the water characters in our front line are all still alive, so we should be fine. Alright, there he goes. And we get a nice fat Colossus cane out of this. For now, this will only be a stat stick, but hopefully it will become more relevant soon enough. This instead is something that we probably should jump in straight away, mostly because we will get one more water character to complete our frontline, as well as a 50% attack up fire summon. So, let's get going. Just a few quests in, and our knight hits max level. So it's time to move on and start leveling our next class. Good part about this is that priests can use spears too, so we won't need to change our main weapon. And we continue on with the Festival of the Falling Flame. Sadly, we still don't have a defense down, but the attack up should serve fine to boost our damage a little bit. You guys remember when these bosses were hard? Alright, let's see if Europa can do something here. That was good enough, even though using summons to deal damage feels kind of weird. Alright, we finally start getting some XP boost for weapons as well. And with the ending complete, we get our little weapon, some crystals, and... already? Well, fun, we'll take a look at that too. Now, before moving on to the quests that will actually allow us to farm for the items, it's time to complete our water lineup with Therese. Now, hitting auto-select is going to put the 2 new weapons in the grid. And we get a nice little damage boost. As if helping out newbies wasn't enough, the side story weapon already comes out at 3 stars at level 100, so even if it doesn't have a good skill, it will still be a useful stat stick for the moment. Summon-wise, we're still very lacking, so I guess it's time to go and try and pick up the Phoenix. 40% boost to fire attack is fairly low, and we will be replacing it soon, hopefully. But since we have nothing at the moment, we will have to make do. Looks like we won't get an Europa for the final fight of the side story. We'll just go with Macula Marius instead. And aren't you glad we did? But she also freezes the boss for a couple of turns, preventing him from moving. Alright, with the boss down, we get our free summon. So at the very least, we can go keep it in our summon page and get a little bit more stats out of it. It's not much since the summon doesn't come at max level, but still, we can get a few items and start working on it. Sadly, this is our best option before we get a Colossus and some Magna scales in the grid. The closest best alternative would be Ifrit. These are summons that older players had to farm before being able to switch to Magna, and it gives the same 50% boost to fire attack. So yeah, we can level the Phoenix a little bit. So we set up the auto-select for Angel only, and level 1 only. I bought some of the angel weapons from the treasure trade, and we can start feeding them to it. As well as this random garbage. "24 levels, up to 500 attack, not bad. We still need an ice water summon, but that will come soon enough. For the moment, looking at this actually hurts. Like, physically. But we will have to bear with it until we complete more of the story and start getting more Magna weapons. And this video went on a little bit longer than I expected, so Cowardly Hero and the Captive Princess will have to wait for the next one. I'm planning to upload these on a bi-weekly schedule, so the next episode will come out on Saturday. See you then!